Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight for our Village of Alsip committee meeting. Today is July 30th, 2018. We'll call this meeting in order at 7:31. Can you call the roll, please?
Yes. Trustee McGreal is absent. Trustee Dalzell?
Here.
Trustee Pierce?
Here.
Trustee Zelinski?
Here.
Trustee Juarez?
Here.
Trustee McLaughlin?
Here.
Mayor Ryan?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, officers' report starting with myself. I want to report a few things going on in the village right now, just so everyone's aware. Last Wednesday, kind of having a dashboard moment driving down Pulaski, and I just spoke with Mr. Jaber just now, one of the owners of Official Cuts. Official Cuts had some construction going on. They're piping in some sprinkler systems to make their building compliant, to which he hopes to be a new barber school. And improving the obviously occupying that building, which I can appreciate. Thanks for coming in, Mr. Gerard. I appreciate it. And moving further south down Pulaski, the new canopy is up at the old Sicko gas station on Pulaski now then too. And they're working on that right now. And Roger Early tells me that that's either going to be a mobile or a Shell gas station. They're going to change the flag as far as who's going to occupy that. Those are new owners going in there then too. So happy to report on that. Also, Roger, he's not available this evening, but that we're looking forward to finally doing those demolition on the, we're going to do the car wash first at 117th and Pulaski. Tentatively, that's scheduled for right around August 15th, and which will be followed by the demolition of the house and so forth at 3725 120th place. We're going to be taking out the built-in pool and the garage that's there as well too. That's just going to be, both properties will just be left with gravel finish when we get done with both properties then too. So I'm telling you, a lot of these are a long time coming, but the certainly Pulaski Avenue is going to look wonderful once it's done over there then too. There is some interest right now in Demon Dogs. We got a report on, Chris will probably report on that tonight. And Firewater Barbecue and Brew is finally finalizing their financing as well then, Chris, right? So within the next 30 days, we should finally see that take place. We've been waiting about 3 months for that to happen, and that should be great for 117th and Pulaski. I want to remind everybody, I'm going to have my assistant Becky post this. Unfortunately, at our last meeting, I had announced that unfortunately, previous employee here, Rick Robarski, passed away. And he was with Public Works for over 30 years. I met some folks yesterday at a get-together I was at, and the fundraiser benefit for his family is still going to take place next Saturday if anybody's available. I had Benny's Pizza. It's like 100 and I'm going to post it. I believe it's 137th and Cicero over in Crestwood, and that starts at 3:30 in the afternoon. It runs till about 10 o'clock at night, and it's a $10 donation. At Benny's Pizza for Rick Robarski's family is sponsoring that then too. So it's a benefit to celebrate Rick's life and unfortunately his loss to cancer. Next Saturday, August 4th, and we'll post a flyer I was given yesterday on our Facebook or website, our website and our Facebook page. And that's all I had as far as notes were concerned. I'm sorry, and I've got one right here as well too. They've got about a dozen bands that are going to be out there. And, again, the $10 includes food and, I'm sure, soft drinks. Number one on your agendas was a request from myself and my assistant, Becky Smith, to attend the Illinois Municipal League workshop on liquor licensing and regulation, as well as a panel presentation from the Illinois Liquor Control Commission and the Illinois Gaming Operators Association. That was a $35 cost per person, which included the new booklet on licensing and regulation, That was actually held today. I'm sorry I couldn't get this on the agenda sooner. I had another obligation today that canceled at the last minute, so that, as protocol would be, all conferences, and I did remind all of the department heads last Wednesday at our staff meeting, all conferences are approved by the Board of Trustees per ordinance. So I included myself in this, as I should, and I appreciate it. I sent out a text message to all the trustees, and the majority that got back to me all agreed it was okay to attend this conference, and we did so today. It was an informative workshop that we went to. It was a full house. A lot of municipalities were there today, too. The only alternative date was in Springfield, and I certainly didn't want to drive to Springfield if I didn't have to. So I appreciate the trustees that got back to me, and it was some good information that we got today on up-to-date information on liquor licensing and regulation. And that's all I have. Clerk Petzl, you have a report?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Ryan. Presentation and approval for the June 11th, 2018 committee meeting minutes, and presentation and approval of the June 25th, 2018 committee meeting minutes. And that is all, Mayor Ryan.
Thanks. Public forum. Anyone from the audience wish to address the board this evening? Nobody? All right, thank you. And then we'll move on to the standing committee reports. The Finance Committee, Trustee McLaurin.
Under Finance, I will have the usual list of accounts payable and payroll for approval. And that's all, Mayor.
Okay. And Trustee McLaurin, do you have a fire report?
Under Fire, the chief would like to convince us to purchase 3 new cardiac monitors.
All right. Yes, thank you, trustees. The last time, number one, our monitors are approaching 10 years old. I did send out the information a couple months ago regarding our current monitors and the standards that are out there and what the recommended time to replace are. The last time we got monitors, which, like I said, almost 10 years ago, and that was from a foundation grant from, at the time, St. Francis Hospital. Prior to that, the last time the village actually purchased cardiac monitors was 17 years ago. They're aging. You're going to start seeing failures. Standards have changed. Our care has changed also. There are standards that we have to abide by, which also goes along with the technology. The quote that I included for this meeting was the one we've been using. This is my 3rd year of applying to replace our monitors. The first one made it almost down to the deadline. It was pulled at the last minute. We applied for a regional grant through FEMA that was denied. This past year we applied just for our area and was denied as well. We can't keep passing this off. The monitor price from originally started is about $4,000 each, has gone up since then. With the current monitor price that I've enclosed, we are jumping on the coattails of Silver Cross Hospital. So we're saving roughly between $8,000 and $10,000 for the monitors altogether, because we are jumping on a regional purchase agreement with them is what we're doing.
Okay, because the advertised price on their website is high.
Is what?
Is not $8,000 to $10,000 more.
When you add everything we had onto there, everything's itemized on there for what we're using with our monitors besides just the base. So everything that we're looking at that we're required to have, partially because of our region, is included in that as well. So that's the quote we got from our salesperson, and that's what's being quoted through joint purchase with Silver Cross Hospital. So if you go on to the 4th page, I believe it is, the $33,000, that is our price for the monitor with everything that we're looking at getting with the monitor as well. The other thing along with this purchase and being part of that agreement is anything we purchase is we're also getting 10% off accessories, anything else that we need in the future as well. The reason why we're looking at Zoll is we did field test monitors in the past. If you look at most of your hospitals, they all have Zoll monitors for a reason. They're very reliable. They're very dependable. Doesn't require a lot of maintenance. We do have a maintenance agreement where a gentleman comes out once a year and services them unless there's an issue. Zoll is the only monitor that allows us to do CPR and monitor the patient at the same time, which is very critical for full arrest patients. No other monitor has that ability.
Chief, are there any, like anything else, usually, I know you're looking for a specific product, or usually anything over $20,000, we usually get a couple of quotes on it. Did you get any other quotes? Anything
No,
compared to-
Zoll's the only one we're looking at right now, and when we talked about the ambulance, what the attorney stated also being home rule, we don't need to get 3 quotes. Just like with the ambulance, we didn't go out to bid for the same reason. And the last time we got the monitors was the same thing, even though St. Francis bought them.
That still kind of contradicts our ordinance then, doesn't it?
I'd say
I
the
don't know.
ambulance was a little different as well. I mean, this is equipment that's going into it, and there are multiple brands out there, I mean, that we can at least get comparable price quotes.
You can get comparable price quotes, but the quality of the product is much different.
Well, you can make that argument when you have three different quotes, but the ordinance says that you have to have 3 quotes, and at that point, when one is $50,000, I'm just throwing a number, $50,000 cheaper. At that point you can say, well, it's $50,000 cheaper because it's a piece of dirt.
Right.
You know.
Also, when you compare prices, you're looking for apples to apples. No other monitor has the ability of us monitoring a rhythm while we're doing CPR also. So there's nothing else to compare to.
But what kind of monitors are our neighboring communities using?
Everybody around us uses Zoll because that's what they got with the St. Francis grant. Everybody that's replaced their monitors since then have also stayed with the Zolls.
But is everybody using the X series, or are they using?
That is the newest one is the X series, the newest model.
I know it's the newest, and it's
Right.
broadcast as their top of the line, ultimate like Cadillac model, and so that's what I'm asking: is there other models that would do the job?
The model that we're using right now is the one before the X series. The X series is the newest one that they have right now. And everything is added. You add the components that you want for it, and that's what our quote is. What everything that we're required to do on providing ALS care is part of that.
Chief, I have just one question, and I'm only asking because of how bad the state of our budget is this year. I understand we got a brand new ambulance, and we have 2 ambulances that we use at a regular basis and one as a backup.
Correct.
You're telling me out of all the monitors that we have in all 3 of the ambulances, we can't use one of them or whatever in a backup ambulance and just use the 2 newer ones, and just to maybe push one of these out a year or 2?
All 3 ambulances are used. Right now, since this ambulance has been out of service since April, we've probably, I'm going to roughly guess, without having facts with me, we've called for mutual aid almost 45 times that 3rd ambulance could have gone out. Our call volume is up almost 100 calls since last year. So that 3rd ambulance, even though it's a backup ambulance, it goes out quite a bit. And then you're going to run into the same problem is now you have 2 different monitors, so now you have to remember which monitor you're using to see what you're doing with it.
I know that's the same argument used for us to give you another ambulance, but what I'm
Correct.
saying is you have 3 monitors and 3 different ambulances right now. You can't.
But the monitors are also approaching 10 years old. That's part of the issue is we're past 2 different recommended replacement dates from 2 different organizations. And if we only did a fraction of the calls a year, yeah, possibly. All right. Last year we did over 3,300 calls. This year we're probably going to hit anywhere from 35 to 3,600 calls. Those monitors are used quite a bit.
We beat this one up for 3 years,
Absolutely.
and I was one of those people who didn't want to spend the $100,000 3 years ago, and every year I've been one of those people who would beat the chief up with regards to the whys and justifications for it. And I think we're at that point in time where the machines are necessary to assist the department in their goals. I certainly understand the aspect of having 3 of the similar devices so that you're not making a bad choice for the confusion of that. And it was probably a good idea 3 years ago. It just, money wasn't there. Now that
Yep,
the money's there,
absolutely.
It's even getting more critical, I think.
I agree with all that. I just, what's the precedent for waiving the ordinance? I mean, there's an ordinance in place that says you have to have competitive bids.
I agree, and I didn't like the way that it was phrased for that either. I think that, but actually, I believe the chief did provide us pricing of other products, even though it's his determination that these are the best suited.
We've also in the past have waived the bidding for specific products also. That's not the first time. And I do have the wording from the last time we did it that I could send it before Monday's meeting also, and have the attorney verify that. We've done that in the past.
I was just looking for that precedent.
Mm-hmm.
And generally, when it comes to that, it's either it's a sole source. I believe, Chief, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you had said that this vendor has the territory, and then also with the pricing that was available through the hospital itself, lend being more economical this way.
Correct.
Chief, like anything else, I think, as trustee said, I think we all agree too. We're going to replace these monitors. I mean, the last thing we want to do, especially with your call volume, is have you with a piece of equipment that's not going to perform right, especially a heart monitor and so forth then too. So we all understand, and everybody's, I think we're all on the same page. I think we're looking to replace this. I would agree with both trustees that just said, just to reiterate one more time, the whole reason we put a ordinance in there for expenditures like that is to know we're getting a good buy on something then too. It doesn't always necessarily mean we're taking the cheapest, but to know that we're in the ballpark, and I think that's what everybody's trying to get comfortable with.
Oh, absolutely, and I agree with that. But like I said, if you usually get quotes, you're comparing apples to apples. There's nothing to compete because of, like I said, I mentioned with doing the CPR with the stat pads, and nobody else has that. And that's very important when we're working a full arrest, is to make sure that we continue CPR, not stopping just to monitor to see what the rhythm is. And no other monitor manufacturer has that.
So anything, I get what you're going for. I mean, you're speccing this particular unit out. If you went to, like anything else, even like the ambulances, for years all we bought were Fords. All of a sudden, the road rescues manufacturing Chevys. Well, we're taking a Chevy now, and we're going gas. We're not going diesel anymore. Things change.
Right.
What's the difference in cost to go to product B as opposed to what you're looking at? How much would we save in anything else?
I have no idea. I don't know what the other monitors are going for. I have no clue.
And I think that's what we need to understand in order to know that, I mean, yes, we know we're getting more with this, but at what cost?
Right. And we're not going to be able to, whatever the cost is, I know we're not going to be able to jump on the coattails of a hospital and save, 10%.
So, I get that. You're saying
Right.
Silver Cross is helping us out with this, with using a discount?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And like I said, this is a critical piece of equipment. It's, we, the village, agreed to provide a certain level of service with our residents or anybody that we respond to. That's what we're trying to do, and that's what we want to continue to do. Same thing, that's why we spec out our ambulances the way we spec out our ambulances and all of our fire apparatus. There's a specific reason for it, to that, not just because. And we go out of our way to look at different manufacturers and see what's out there and see what works for us, what works for other agencies. And that's the key thing.
And I don't think anybody's doubting your research. We just need to see the numbers in order to know that we've also done our homework.
So what would you like from me then?
Well, let's put it this way. These monitors are $34,000 each, ballpark.
Correct.
And like I said, it only gets to me in the event of a tie, so I'm trying to just facilitate both sides here then, too. I'm all for replacing the equipment. I think everybody just wants to digest, a Chevy from a Ford. What's the difference between a Zoll and anything else, Chief?
A lot of it's quality. The only other monitor that's somewhat good in quality that's been around for a long time is LifePak. I don't know of anybody around here that even uses a LifePak.
All the fire departments pretty much all stuck on Zoll?
Also, all use Zoll, yes.
I think that in his presentation, he says that this is the only equipment that does what he needs to do.
Right.
So at that point in time, it's...
And, like I said, I hate to keep beating up the stat pads and everything else. Less than 2 weeks ago, we ended up with a cardiac arrest patient, and it was a save. Partially because the patient was shocked. Part of it is because we can continue CPR and monitor the patient at one time. That is probably the best chance of survival is early shocking and continuous CPR without pausing in between. And we are, no matter which way you want to look at it, we are an elderly community. We have 2 senior complexes. We have a lot of seniors that live throughout the community. We go on a lot of cardiac arrests.
I think the best way, Trustee McLaughlin, as chair of fire, you may want to just, even if you want to poll your committee real quick to see if you need more information, or do you want to just place it on the agenda next week? I think that's about the best way to get to the cut to the chase.
Yeah. I mean, I think the board would feel better with more information. I mean, as I said, at this point in time, we've just got this one quote. What are the other models that are available? What do we lose with those other models? I mean, even with Zoll. I mean, Zoll does have other models that are not the top of the line. What is the difference between those?
The older models, it means they're not going to last as long. They were manufactured earlier. The X series is the one that's manufactured right now. They are manufactured to you. Even if I order these today, I'm not getting them between 60 and 90 days because they have to be assembled. They're brand new. The older models have been around for a while. It means you're going to have a shorter lifespan on them.
So they only do one model at a time?
That's why we had the E-Series before. And the E-Series was very good and it lasted for a long period of time.
Trustee McLaughlin, I think at this time we should just go ahead and do what we're doing, but going forward, first of all, Chief, you say this is a very important piece of equipment in your job. I would expect everything is a very important piece of equipment, depending on what kind of call you're going on. So that really...
Well, some equipment we use more than others. This is one we probably use
But we're not
the
talking
majority
a
of the
fire
time.
axe, where you can just use anything
absolutely.
to bat down a door.
Absolutely.
We're talking, something that's very expensive, and you have a responsibility to keep a certain level of service up to the community, but you have to understand that we also have a responsibility to the community financially to do things the right way. So I would say let's go ahead and do this now, but going forward, let's try to do it the right way. Because I don't think a committee meeting is going to change anything. But it's up to you. You're the chair, so.
As I, personally, I'm not comfortable without more information, but if you guys want to vote to approve it,
But if it takes 60 to 90 days, even if the chief maybe can still get that information to us,
I'll send you what else is out there.
but I still think we should approve it so we can get the equipment that we need.
So that I don't understand. So you said we should get the
We approve it, but if,
Just
the next time.
McLaughlin still wants to see numbers and comparisons that, chief should
but
still
again, if we're not going to
provide
need to replace this for another 10 years, then there's no point.
And we got our money's, like I said, the last ones we got in the grant, we get our money's worth out of it. And we have very few breakdowns because it is a quality piece of equipment. Zoll is the best brand that's out there. Like I said, that's why all the hospitals use them. That's why a lot of other services have them, because they're going to last. There's really no question on reliability or dependability. And there are other ambulance companies that use other monitors that have a lot of problems. We've gone through 3 different brands of monitors since I've been around this fire department, and we looked at each one differently to see what's best for us and what's best for the people that we're protecting. And that's what it comes down to. It really does.
Okay. Trustee Dalzell, you okay with that, too?
I am.
Okay. Just helping. Okay. It's just, as far as your committee, we just had the 3 on the committee and so forth. So your call, if you want to get that on the agenda then for next week for an approval. And then, anything else, trustee?
No.
Okay.
All right, thank you, trustees. Mayor.
Then we'll have the police committee report. Committee?
I have a discussion for approval of a training seminar called Leadership in Command to be held in Oak Lawn on October 15 through 19, 2018. The cost of $715 has been budgeted for. A presentation of the June 2018 activity report. The red light cameras at 115th and Cicero and 127th and Cicero have been installed, and the 2-week warning period will be given on or around July 31st, 2018. The village was awarded $121,090 as part of a State of Illinois 911 consolidation program. That's all, Mayor.
Again, Chief, nice job with the application on the grant. I'm glad we got that much money and so forth. And that gets applied right to our new dispatch? Is that what you were telling us?
Correct. It was reimbursement for the CAD software and for the microwave system that was installed for the fire department. So in lieu of that, we've already paid that bill. It'll just go back towards the dispatch costs.
Okay.
That's all, Mayor.
That's it? Okay, thanks. The Public Work and Boat Launch, Trustee Juarez?
For the Keeler and Tripp street resurfacing, based on the 5 bids submitted, we're going to recommend to go with the contract for the lower bidder of Iroquois Paving Corporation, and their bid was for the amount of $304,418.60.
I got that today. That was actually from our village engineer, Will Dolan, recommended that for the board to approve. So if you can put that on the agenda for next week for approval, please, okay?
And that's all, Mayor.
Okay. The Building Committee, Trustee Zelinski?
Yes, Mayor, I got a discussion of a request for a variance to be granted for an oversized shed to be 10 by 18 at 122nd, 12214 South Springfield. This will be replacing an existing shed that was 10 by 19 with no garage on the property. Sounds like it's just a replacement. So,
All looks good to you, Roger?
I'm fine with it.
Okay.
that's all I have tonight, Mayor.
All right. The Water and Sewer Report, Trustee Dalzell?
No report, Mayor.
The License Committee, Trustee Juarez?
I have a presentation of a list of licenses dated July 10th through July 27th, 2018. That's all, Mayor.
Thank you. Then we'll have the Economic Development Report, Trustee Pierce?
Yes, we have Chris Mannheim here tonight who'll give a quick update on Pulaski Corridor TIF, and we also have Mr. Yahia Jaber of Official Cuts to discuss a TIF application for facade and other public improvements at Official Cuts at 11514 South Pulaski. Discussion of an RDA for approval at August 6, 2018 Village Board meeting.
Good evening, everybody. Today we have Yahia Jabber with us with Official Cuts. He actually he actually owns the building and the property, and he'll give a brief presentation. He has a current location for a building that he owns at 64-year-old building that's at 11514 South Pulaski Road, and I'm not going to go through all this because you have our report and you have the actual TIF application in your files in preparation for this meeting. But what we have here is a project that he's begun, that he really is in love with and wanting to do. That's about $338,000. About $146,000 of it is TIF eligible, and he's looking for $50,000. So only about 14% or so of the entire project he's looking for some assistance on to help cover the cost of facade redevelopment and replace the parking lot. And with that, what I'd like to introduce is Yahia, and he'll tell you more about his project.
Good evening, Mayor and trustees.
Evening.
How's everybody doing? I prepared just kind of small few bullet points and some pictures of some locations that I own, some barbershop locations. There are 5 locations total. I've been in business since 2004, and my first location I opened was in Chicago Ridge. The Alsip location was my second. Midlothian was the third. Bridgeview the fourth, and Orland Park, which is just made over a year, is our 5th location. Just to give you a little background about myself, I'm a licensed barber and a licensed instructor. I've been doing it for about close to 15 years for a living. I'm a brand ambassador for Elegance Gel and Booksy. Those are both men's product lines. I do a lot of international and domestic platform work for them. And my vision and what I would like to do and bring to Alsip is a barber college in that vacant space. I have a strong social media presence and following. Myself, I have over 220,000 followers that follow me, work-related. And amongst all our shops, we have about 700,000 followers altogether. And we would like to also use that platform to kind of draw people to Alsip to come to school, attend the school there, and also long-term just kind of, invest in the local properties in Alsip, the 4-flat, 6-flat units, and kind of, turn that into kind of like a dorm for the school underneath the financial aid assistance, because we will be offering financial aid for students, and then also that would qualify them, that would work for the dorms as well. Just kind of a long-term vision. What I'm trying to do now basically is just get the doors open. We've already started with the sprinkler system, which was the issue I've had. I have my father and uncle who've come aboard to help me get the ball rolling with it. We've already bought the main into the building and passed inspection last Tuesday, I believe, and we're waiting to set up an inspection for the system to be flushed with the fire department. We have half the building already sprinklered. The bigger portion has already been completed. So now we just have to do the barbershop portion, and there's the rear storage portion. Once that's done, the building will be up to code, and that should be within the next week or so, 2 weeks. I'm looking to kind of just get a little assistance with the outside, because I know it's an eyesore. I know everybody in Alsip and everybody that passes by, it's kind of like right when you pass 115th, it's like the first thing you see. So I would like to kind of get that cleaned up, give it a nice curb appeal, and basically just I would like to get that done as soon as possible. Obviously, if I can get some help, because we're already in August and we're kind of nearing the fall and winter months. So that's kind of what my intention is. I'm not too far away from achieving it. And obviously, the one thing that I pride myself on and haven't let go of is it's not another restaurant on Pulaski. It's not another retail store. It's going to be a school. So it's going to be, we're going to be educating people, bringing people in. I mean, the barbershop, we have 7 barbers that work there. None of them are from the village of Alsip. They all live in neighboring communities, but when they come to Alsip, they obviously spend their money in Alsip. They eat, pump gas, and spend their money there. So with the school, would obviously be the same thing on a larger scale. So, they'd be spending their money at these restaurants, and I know there's a lot of new restaurants also coming in, pumping gas, and obviously, all the retail centers up and down Pulaski.
So, obviously, you're asking for our help on the facade. Do you have any kind of a drawing or anything like that? Do you have any schematic what do you make it look like? Let's put it that way.
So basically, we've submitted. I've gotten a lot of estimates. I haven't gotten a kind of like a 3D or like a visual of what it would look like. Mm-hmm. But basically, I would like to do drive it on the exterior face of the building, which was kind of like what the Walgreens and CVS's do. It's kind of like a cement. I know they kind of like a Walgreens.
I think, everybody.
Yeah, so kind of like that, and then the parking lot. So what I want to do as far as the front of the building, just to kind of visualize, because I don't have anything to show, because everything's kind of just written estimates, would be just to kind of, there's it's asphalt in front of the building. I want to kind of close that off because, UPS trucks, cars, they all park right in front, and I really don't like the way that looks. So my idea would be just to kind of put some sod there, do some landscaping, some plants, and, just a new fascia, just give it some nice curb appeal.
I think that's a great idea. I think it would help, to at least for the board, I'll just speak for myself, as far as approving something like this. I think everybody wants, I know I want to support something like this. I think, and you made some great points, everything you said, but we probably should have something in writing, what you're going to do as far as that materials and what the look of that's going to be and so forth, so we know what we're signing off on, that kind of thing too, so.
I know we've submitted just in writing. I've submitted in writing. You mean just like a visual, kind of like have a?
Yeah, if you can have somebody draft a schematic of what you're going to do with the layout, so we know exactly what we're going to approve, just so we don't have to go back to you and say, well, we didn't agree to this, we didn't agree to that. No, it's still your project, but with our assistance, we should know what we're signing off on then too.
100%.
Just so, let's just say, just for conversation purposes, somebody changed their mind, you or one of your investors or whatever, and somebody changed their mind and went a different direction. It's like, well, wait a minute, we didn't okay that. So I think it would help everybody if you at least have that documented and have the building department approve what you're going to do. Make sure it's within code or whatever the case is then too. That's all.
Okay.
Just so all the T's are crossed and so forth. That's all.
Understandable.
I have a question. Kent earlier in the budget hearing said that the TIF is in deficit spending. What does that mean? Is there money left to?
Yeah, it's the difference between debt and deficit. It still is in the positives, but we spend more than we take in, and that was by design. When it first came, we brought money in from TIF 1 to invest in the area. So it's in the budget. It's red. It's red ink. We spend more than we take in. It's always going to be that way for a long time because the TIF doesn't generate money. But it still has the fund balance that we've talked about all along. And as I recall, it's something like after the committed to projects already, it's over 200,000.
Is the application already completed?
Right. In fact, you get a copy,
So,
trustee does.
we've already
in your
got the
packet, but
information.
yes, the application's completed. It's got a detailed breakdown of all the remodeling costs, all the other estimates for the sprinkler system and everything else. That's where the $338,000 come for. He has also been provided with a copy of our guidelines for facades, so he has all that material. He just wasn't able to get a design ready for tonight's meeting.
A visual, correct.
Yeah, visual.
That's all.
But all the details are there. All the numbers are in the application. Letter about the financing is in the application. All the other documents showing that he's in business, copies of his licenses, that's all in the application, which was included in the packets.
Is your parking lot split down the middle with Nikki's, or do you own that whole lot?
I believe Nikki's lot is 2 feet wider than ours, but there's some cinder blocks, so they're 2 separate lots.
Okay. Down the middle?
There actually is. There's a curb and then
Very
they have
small curb, yeah.
parking bumpers on Nikki's side. That's all.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is this something that we would be able to have ready for next week, or?
As far as the drawing, yeah, I'll get right on it. I would love to have it, come
Sure.
up next week.
And
so
this
I'll
way
get right on it.
we'll ask Trustee Pierce if you can put it on for an approval next week. And because this is just committee, Mr. Jaber, so you had a chance to present and have Chris speak to the project. Next week is when we vote on everything, then too on the 6th, so we'll have it on the agenda next week.
Thank you so much.
Okay?
Okay.
And then I'll fill in the Joe Kane card too to get an RDA ready.
Oh, that's right. Thank you.
So I'll follow through with that, and we'll work with Roger, who's been very great on all these projects, to get an idea for some kind of visual rendering.
Sounds good.
Good luck with your
Thank you.
project.
Thank you, Mayor,
Yeah.
trustees. Thank you.
Sign in.
Thank you, Mr. Jaber. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Moving along, then, we had the,
Oh, I'm sorry. You know what, Chris? Yeah, Chris has
Oh, go
got a
ahead,
quick
Chris, sorry.
update on.
I
Sorry.
don't have a formal report for you tonight, but Trustee Pierce asked me if I could just give a quick verbal update, and Mayor, thank you very much. You gave about half of it.
yeah. Oh, yeah, I was having one of those dashboard moments Wednesday,
But,
looking at
yeah, we've
things,
been
so.
very busy here. Official cuts, as you know, with Yahia's project tonight. And Roger Early is in contact with Health and Earth Wellness about the architectural plans that are under review. We talked a bit about Howard Shanowski's project with his shopping center across the street on the east side. He continues to work through facade and parking lot improvements, as reported last time. Roger Hopkins is working with him diligently to try to find additional restaurants and the like, not only for his project, but for other ones in town. And on that note, too, Roger and I are both attending the ICSC Retail Connection August the 16th. That's where we meet with companies and franchisers that are looking for new locations. So there's a detailed list that Roger's put together, of companies he's already looking at, and that we're going to continue to look over. Let's see, Firewater Barbecue is progressing. They have their, we're notified that they do have approval from Wintrust Bank. And as the mayor mentioned too, I was just doing my regular site tour last Thursday, and I noticed there's some activity over at Demon Dogs, and I had heard rumors that it's been sold. So we met I met with the, I want to say the Juarez brothers, and they have purchased it. We don't have any of the details yet as to the nature of the purchase, but it's been purchased, and they came over here. We spent Roger Early and I spent about an hour with them talking about the facade improvement projects, the TIF grant, and then also, of course, with all these projects, we all but twist everybody's arms to go see Mary Schmidt about the enterprise zone, where they can save money both on sales tax of purchase of locally purchased construction materials, among other things. El Coyote also dropped off a package about an inch thick, which I haven't had a chance to review. A year ago, they were talking to us about making improvements. If you recall, this goes back before Hopkins and I came on board, but it was a redevelopment agreement for them for about $38,000, but they never acted on it. Well, Oscar dropped by the office after about a year, and they are looking to putting a new patio and signage, and I'm going to go through his application this week. So they'll be coming to you just for a simple application for facade and for an outdoor patio. And then we talked about the car wash, and we also have Tropical Ice. We have a local resident who wants to start up his own seasonal business, kind of on the lines of a Dairy Queen, but out of a mobile unit, out of a trailer. And we've been working with him, and he's working with Roger Early and with Becky, who just came in the room, to see what's allowable under our ordinances in order to do that. So that brings you up to speed of what's happened since our July 2nd report.
What happened with and maybe you said it and I missed it, but the strip mall, I know Pappas isn't part of it, but that's the
affiliated?
That's the landmark, that whole strip mall there.
Yeah, they've been working over there.
Have they? I just didn't know. Okay.
Yeah, it's not been really noticeable, but Affiliated's already started the work.
They actually did their parking lot over there already.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the parking lot was resurfaced and it's been restriped, but the facade they haven't done anything with yet. And they actually started cleaning up the marquee, the signage. They actually took some of the old signage off. They're starting to clean that up a little bit.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah. Roger, did you have anything to add on what Philly is? Okay. And the only other one is Dr. Matthews has called about doing a facade application for them and for Studio K. So we're already talking with staff about that and seeing, but we haven't seen a new application from them. So, yeah, we have a plate full right now for Pulaski, to say the least. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. That's all I have, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Moving along then, the Plan and Zoning Committee, Trustee Zelinski.
No report tonight, Mayor.
Okay. And we're waiting on a couple of recommendations from the commission?
Yeah, we had a meeting this past Wednesday. It was about the property over on 11901. Supposedly they purchased Funtime Square, and they plan on expanding. I'll have further information for you later. That and one of the other meetings was put on hold until August 8th. They're going to be having another planning and zoning meeting, and Stanley just came up to me today, and I guess they're going to have another one yet, August 22nd. So
Okay. So the 11901 is Cicero.
Excuse me?
11901 Cicero, just for people listening.
Yes.
Okay.
Also, Mr. Graychick was talking to me about there's another business that I guess they put an application in for truck repair, and I know we wanted to maybe cap or try to hold off on some of these truck repair. We got 7 of them in just the last
The only
year or
one,
whatever.
the only truck repair that I'm aware of right now, anyway, there's actually 2 interests. One was 120th Street into on the west side of the industrial park.
That's the one he's talking about.
Oh, okay.
Submitted it Friday at like 3:30.
Okay, so the property.
They were looking for a special use permit.
Right.
And the way the conversation went, it sounded like if it was a new property and it was, bought for the intent of that, it would be like an okay thing. But he was talking about a moratorium on this, and I guess we do have an ordinance at this time.
Well, any business, and especially a truck repair, this is more than parking or anything like that. You have to at least have a 1,200 square foot building with, running water, bathrooms, all that kind of thing then too. And certainly if you're going to build a 1,200 square foot structure, you're going to put all that in there anyway. All the property that they're looking at is completely undeveloped. It's never been developed before yet too. So it's a big undertaking, plus meeting building requirements too with a non-permeable lot and everything else. There's a lot that this is going to partake. So if they're going to delve into this, certainly it's going to need a planning and zoning commission hearing for them to make a recommendation to us. There's a lot required.
Weren't we looking at and I don't know if we had considered it or not, but when we had put the moratorium on the car title loans, pawn shops and such, were we talking similarly with the truck repair?
No, we just made it special use. We're going to qualify everyone that comes in, and actually, and have. That's the way I understood it, Roger. Right? All truck repair businesses had to go special use, and
February last year.
right. And this way, the Plan and Zoning Commission makes a recommendation to us, and they can delve further into it than what we would, and qualify those properties. We certainly won't, and I've explained to everyone that's come to my office, we won't give up. We won't even consider a commercial street for a development like that, but in this case, this is beyond, let's say, where Amber Mechanical's at. It's dead west of Central Avenue and 120th, and it's certainly off the beaten path. Nothing's back there. So,
Okay, because the chairman of the committee was saying if we wanted to put a moratorium in on this subject, that the trustees could act as the planning and zoning for that, and we would make that argument for that if that was our intent. So, but if we're accepting all business,
well, that's really the idea of having the filter, the qualifier, is having that Plan and Zoning Commission. Personally, I'd like to leave it in their lap instead of us trying to assume their job.
they're just a recommendation sort of.
I get it, because we're going to have final say in the matter, but I think we'd all be remiss to put, even though we don't get a lot of money, revenue out of a business like that, to have somebody develop properties that have never been developed, I think we always have to keep our door available. And I do think, Trustee, I agree with you too. There's that fine line we walk all the time. It's like, but again, we've done a pretty good job. I bring Roger in, and we've actually brought a couple of the other departments in too, if we thought it was really something that needed some more eyes on things. Because we have one other business. Roger, when are they supposed to be breaking ground for that 11540 Central? When's that supposed to happen? Do you know?
They got finalized
And I'll tell you, trustee, and all the trustees, so everybody knows too, we had a business come in, they want to do truck repairs, and they want to set up a spot in an industrial area on 115th and Central, where nothing's ever been built there before. And the board, we've actually discussed this at these board meetings. We actually gave them approval to move forward with that project too. But here's a piece of property that's never been developed, and they were willing. They brought in their architects and everything else, and they actually designed it to what we asked for. We actually asked them to put a building in front of the property because we don't want to see their trucks. We asked them to put driveways in and so forth, and actually even fire hydrants in a way. They're actually going to relocate fire hydrants either way to accommodate that aspect of it too. But we're doing everything we can to keep the integrity of the industrial community there, and it's still bringing a business on something that's never been developed. So again, we're looking forward to having those property taxes, help our community and take a load off our taxpayers at the same time then too. And that should be happening pretty soon then too, Raj? Yeah. Great. Okay. Anything else, trustee?
No, that's all I have tonight.
Special committee reports, village properties, trustee McGlohorn.
No report, Mayor.
All right. And then insurance committee,
No report, Mayor.
the ordinance and legislation committee, trustee Pierce.
No report, Mayor.
How about IT, trustee Dalzell?
No report, Mayor.
Or human resources committee?
No report, Mayor.
Shouldn't I saw you heard anything you wanted to report, anything you were missing? Okay.
Sure.
Come on, you don't want to waste a trip. You sit through a whole meeting. The Traffic Safety Committee, Trustee Dalzell,
No report, Mayor.
and then the...
I do have a question for the chief under traffic safety.
Go ahead.
Parking on 115th Street. And-
I presume you're talking about in front of Marist?
Yeah,
Just a guess. Where they're parking at right there is actually Chicago's territory. Talking about in front of Country Pantry,
yes, over there on that side.
that's Chicago's side. That little strip right there.
Is it really?
And they're parking there because we're enforcing the no parking, resident only parking in the neighborhoods. So they're all cars from the apartment complex that don't want to pay for parking over there.
So even though it's on the south side of the street, we have no control.
Correct.
I've actually questioned it with the chief before, and it seems like it's just a terrible place to park your car at the same
I mean,
time.
because it's right there, and
They only got another month and a half before the snow towing starts for the city, so they won't be parking there much longer.
Trustee Pierce, I apologize too. Health and pollution, did you have anything?
No report, Mayor.
Trustees, again, any presentations, petitions, or communications?
I do, Mayor.
Go ahead.
I spoke to everybody on the board in the last couple of weeks. It is official. I presented the clerk and the mayor with my official resignation from the board as of next Monday night for personal reasons, good personal reasons, but next Monday night will be my last meeting.
Well, thank you again for your service to the community and to trustees. Seriously,
Thank you.
It takes a lot. I've been involved for 7 years, and campaigns are tough, and it's even tougher. Once you sit on this side of the dais all the time, then too. We try to make the best decisions we can in the interest of the taxpayers, because we're still taxpayers before we're representatives all the time yet too. But your dialogue was always appreciated, and I certainly stay in touch with us yet too.
I do. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, thank you for being on this board.
Thank you.
Okay.
I want to give a congratulations to our 9-10-year-olds for Alsip Little League District 8 champions. It's been their first championship since 2009.
That's wonderful, and thank you for bringing that up. Thank you. Nice job by those guys. And we'll do something next week to recognize them as well. Too. Thanks for bringing that
That'd be
up. Any unfinished business? Any new business? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Thank you, folks, for joining us this evening. Have a nice night.
Meeting adjourned at 8:24 PM.
Right.